I'm Eric Novak. 2021 is going to be a really good year for electric vehicles because we have several new models coming out from a variety of different automakers, including some from automakers who don't have any electrics in their lineups to this point, such as what's right beside me here. It is the 2021 Volvo XC40 Recharge. It is an XC40 compact SUV, but it is an all-electric variant, no gas, and it is the first electric branded with Volvo. This is a vehicle that I've been much looking forward to, and I have a first drive opportunity today to drive it. I've only got it for about a half a day, and I'm going to try and do as much as I can to talk about this and show you the features, and I hope to do a more detailed review of this later on in the late spring or summer. But let's take a look right now at this first ever Volvo electric, the XC40 Recharge. So an interesting feature with the XC40 is there's no start-stop button. I don't need to depress to get going. I just basically have to sit in the driver's seat. I've got the key fob in my pocket. It recognizes it, and I'm ready to drive. Just like Tesla has this as well, but no start-stop button. Neat little bit of technology there. Powering this XC40 Recharge is a 78 kilowatt hour battery. It is paired with dual motors, front and back, 50-50 power split, which gives you basically all-wheel drive, and it has a total output of 402 net horsepower and 486 pound-feet of torque. That will get you 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, or 62 miles per hour, in about 4.9 seconds. Sometimes people also knock electric vehicles saying, well, you can't really tow much with it, but this is a small vehicle and it still has a 2,000 pound towing capacity. So, I mean, if you're looking to haul a small trailer, or you've got a couple of ATVs or something along that, this is not a problem at all. In terms of distance, this XC40 has a posted driving range of 335 kilometers, or 208 miles, I believe is what it works out to. Now, that's not great. You've got a 78 kilowatt hour battery. You've got, a smaller vehicle with a range like that. I think the trade-off, of course, is in performance, because, as I mentioned earlier, you've got over 400 horsepower and close to 500 pound-feet of torque. In terms of efficiency, and this is a measurement we're going to start hearing more about, because we don't need to concern ourselves so much with the range anymore. So let's now compare electric vehicles more accurately in terms of how efficient they are. This XC40 has an efficiency rating of a 26.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. What that means is it's basically on par with vehicles like the Porsche Taycan, the Jaguar I-Pace, but way less efficient than some of the more popular EVs we've seen now, like the Nissan Leaf Plus, the Hyundai Kona Electric, the Kia Soul and Niro Electric. Actually, the Hyundai Ioniq and the Tesla Model 3 are some of the most efficient vehicles out there. So you're giving up on efficiency, but you're getting power. It's kind of an interesting trade-off on this. I'm not sure how well that's going to play. I mean, the reality is 335 kilometers is still more than enough for people to use on daily drives. There still is this weird psychology saying, well, if I can't go all the way 500 kilometers on one drive, because how many times do you ever really do that? People don't feel they're willing to buy it. It's going to be interesting to see how people receive this vehicle, given the lower limitations in range, but the higher performance output overall. This XC40 Recharge has an 11 kilowatt hour onboard charger. So if you had a home charging unit at home, a 220 volt, and you pulled it into the driveway with nothing, you'd get back to full in about 8 hours. You can DC fast charge with this. Again, if you pulled into a fast charging station with nothing in the battery, you'd get back to 80% using a 150 kilowatt charger in 40 minutes. I don't know what the numbers are for 50 and 60 and fast chargers, 50, 60 kilowatt, which are some of the earlier DC fast charge units, but we're seeing a lot more of the high output fast charging units across highways now. So, 30, 40 minutes. But again, you're probably not pulling in at 0. So it's kind of a moot point. I mean, if you're driving 3 or 4 hours, which you'd probably need to get that down to nothing, you're probably going to want to stop for 15, 20 minutes, get another 100 kilometers in there, 200 kilometers, and on your way you go. There are different driving modes you can utilize here with the XC40. There's your traditional driving mode where you use your accelerator and your brake pedal, but you also have one pedal driving as an option, which is something that you see more and more of with electric vehicles. And with one pedal driving, again, it's just that use only your accelerator, and when you pull off the accelerator, the system gets into a sort of a heavy regen mode, and it brakes for you. It takes some getting used to because it's an unnatural feel to a certain extent. It will come to a full stop though if you're in slow speed situations, so you really don't need the brake pedal. But there are some disadvantages, and I like the fact that you can switch between both, and it's a setting just on your touchscreen. You can turn the one pedal driving off and on. I like one pedal driving when I'm, say, on a long sort of drive with, especially with twisty roads, where you can, once you get the hang of it, it really becomes fun to, sort of accelerate coming out of a turn and control the braking. But with one pedal driving, you can't coast. And there's a lot of times where you just might want to coast to decelerate, which does provide some regen as well. So at least there is the chance to switch back and forth, and you do have both driving styles, which you'll learn, if you drive this vehicle, you'll learn to have preferences over time yourself. When you look at the exterior of this XC40 Recharge, it generally looks much like the regular XC40, but there's a few distinctive differences that you'll note. The most visible one is on the front. There's no air intake because it's not operating on a gas engine, so it's a solid front visual, which I think looks pretty good. You've got some black accent finishes now, so you see the black side mirror and the hood. There's some unique Recharge badging. It's very subtle though. The tires here, 19 is standard low rolling resistance. These are 20s on this tester. And of course, in the rear, there are no exhaust pipes. Again, no gasoline. You've got a charge port instead of a gasoline fuel intake. But generally, this is, well, it's pretty much a normal looking XC40, but with a big functional difference. This Volvo XC40 Recharge is the first Volvo vehicle to be run by the Android automotive operating system. So it's a whole new system entirely. It basically is in sync with Google. It changes a lot about how this vehicle is connected to you, to information, and there's a lot of features that it is capable of doing that it didn't do before. So having this system does not mean that it is only exclusive to, say, Android users if you're connecting with your phone. Apple CarPlay does work in the system as well, just as Android Auto does, but the whole operating system is an Android system. With connectivity between Android and Google, you have it as basically an assistant for you. I mean, maps are now Google Maps for directions, and it can give assistance. It can connect. It can make calls. It can play music for you. It can connect to, say, Spotify or to your own accounts for music, YouTube Music, for example, as well. It has all these capabilities, and there are certain things you can ask it to do as well. So to use Maps, you just have to connect with it with your voice, and you're speaking to Google through Maps. When I do so, I'm just going to demonstrate. I'll show you how it works on the map. But in editing, I'm going to edit out the hey blank, because I know that when I've watched videos before that say that, or on TV, my phone tends to activate. So I'm not going to do that to save you the hassle. But I'll just show you, for example, if I'm just in where I am right now, I want to head to a destination. I just pick something in my head. I'll just say, hey, navigate to Deer Creek Golf Club.
Navigating to Deer Creek Golf and Banquet Facility.
And it's just in there right there. So off I go if I want to get to that direction, which is, 10 minutes away or so. And it's simple as that. It's very integrated into the entire system. It's basically meant to be connected to your Google account, and it's much more interactive and intuitive than it would have been in old systems. This XC40 platform, which was initially, of course, built with gas, was designed with electric in mind. So the battery placement, again, as I mentioned, underneath the floor, the benefit of that, of course, is it does not give up any interior space. So everything you would get dimensionally with the regular XC40 you have here. Plenty of seating and nice comfortable room in front, headroom, second row, leg room and headroom. It's all the same. No loss of cargo space. In fact, you even have a little bit more with the fact that there's no engine. So you have a small cargo area in the front, more often known as the frunk. So that's definitely part of smart planning. When you build vehicles to be electric, that's what you get. One of the advantages, I guess, of having the Android automotive operating system is you're connected to Google. And if you're on a long drive with no one to talk to and you want to converse, sometimes entertainment can come from Google itself. Let me give you an example here. If I'm just looking to laugh a little bit, well, let's hear what we have to hear from Google. Hey, tell me a bad joke.
Why were the dogs named Rolex and Timex? Because they were watchdogs.
Maybe that's not so entertaining. This XC40 Recharge is the first Volvo electric vehicle with the Volvo branding. I know we have Polestar, but that is being operated as a separate entity. But this is the first Volvo all-electric vehicle, but it is not the last by any stretch. In fact, just this week, Volvo announced their plans upcoming, and it's pretty remarkable what's about to happen. So, first of all, they announced that the next electric vehicle, which will come, will be a C40. So basically the same size, but more of a coupe kind of thing. It'll be coming in 2022. Longer range, different driving dynamics, and it will be the first Volvo that is built only as an electric vehicle. This XC40 has a gas version and an electric, but the C40 will be the first only electric model that Volvo has, and that is where they're going. They have announced that by 2025, half of all of their sales will be only electric models, and the other half will be hybrid. By 2030, they will be exclusively selling EV vehicles only. So following what we've heard from Jaguar and from other manufacturers, they will be only EV by 2030. But there is a big difference between what we've heard before from others and what Volvo is doing. Volvo has announced that all electric vehicle sales as of the 2022 model year will be sold only exclusively online. So if you're looking to try and project what this means, if by 2030 all of their vehicles will be electric vehicles and they will all be sold online, well, what does that mean for dealers? And it's clear that Volvo sees the traditional dealership model as not something that will be viable going forward. I mean, think about it. Electric vehicles require far less maintenance. So, dealers who might not sell a lot of high volume or profits on sales, make it up on parts and service. And that's changing with electric vehicles. And they're incorporating the Care by Volvo theme as well. So a lot of these EV sales, I mean, you're going to be able to customize it online, or if you want to have basically a preset trim level, you can access it easily. And it's going to be kind of a Care by Volvo package sort of idea. It'll be one price. They're saying you'll even have things like maintenance, whatever there is, even insurance included in all one price. So this is dramatically going to change things. I really don't know what we're going to see from a bricks and mortar perspective from Volvo going forward. I think there still has to be some sort of bricks and mortar, but how it evolves, it remains to be seen. But it's definitely one of the more remarkable statements we've heard. And this XC40, which you still can right now buy in dealerships, will eventually be moving into that model, and you'll be seeing it only online. It's a dramatically different system altogether than what we're used to. So final thoughts on my first drive with this Volvo XC40 Recharge. I like the vehicle. I mean, I like the drivability of it, the power, of course. I think it's got great styling and convenience. I'm actually going to be positive on the Android automotive operating system. It's going to take me a little bit of a while to get used to. Even though I'm an Android user myself, I think there's got great potential and we'll see a lot more of it. I'm a little disappointed on the range, despite the fact that there is certainly more than enough to meet the daily needs. I just think that's going to be a bit of a competitive disadvantage as we see newer models coming out this year with longer range and sort of the same competitive space that this XC40 Recharge is going against. But overall, I had a good first experience, and as I said, later on this spring or in the summer, I will take it out for longer and try to do more detailed information and drivability and range and stuff like that. But for now, that's it for this first drive opportunity of the Volvo XC40 Recharge. I'm Eric Novak. I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. There's plenty of ways for you to keep connected with me, so check out some of my social media links, suggested videos, and I'd really love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel.